Good morning, everyone. My name is Mighty Stream. I'm going to do your spiritual principle a day in a meditation for June 26th. Good morning to you. If you need to reach me, feel free to do so at recoveryofhope21@gmail.com. Oh, this is an exciting day. This title is The Therapeutic Value of Practicality. So I hope you have your coffee or your tea, your croissants. Are you ready? Are you ready? Okay. The therapeutic value of practicality, June 26th. We feel that our approach to the disease of addiction is completely realistic. For the therapeutic value of one addict helping another is without parallel. That comes from the basic text, chapter 4, How It Works. By the time we get to Narcotics Anonymous, right? Many of us have a long list of what didn't fix us. Family, relationships, doctors, treatment programs, religious institution. We begged God or something out there for relief. Because of our involvement in the justice system, some of us have had help imposed on us. All these individuals or entities may indeed have been helpful to our survival, even if only to introduce us to NA. Some may continue supporting us to this day. But we found them to be insufficient to help build the long-lasting changes to our lives that we needed. So what was missing? Good question, right? One member shared their aha moment. This concept of one addict helping another hit me on the head like a ton of bricks. I thought, now I get it. These were helpful, practical bricks, of course, bricks that we can use to build our life back up. Recovering addicts who've survived what we've survived are unquestionably the best source of practical information about recovery. This ideal not only makes sense to us, but it also brings us some relief. In NA, we create an atmosphere of healing for each other. That's what we mean by therapeutic. We help each other to heal through empathy and solidarity. The we of Narcotics Anonymous, of NA rather, is a powerful and practical resource we use to walk through life's difficulties and hold each other up as we heal. Honest sharing helps identify others who have survived infidelity, infertility, illness, and a myriad other hardships. We connect each other with members who've had to navigate similar things, and we get to learn from their experience. Our personal tragedies can become a shared source of strength. What could be more practical? While our disease would have us focus on what makes us different, we know the ties that bind us together are way stronger than differences. Those ties are strong, real, and practical. They are the bricks that build us up and help us from falling. NA is a practical program delivered by addicts to other addicts, with other addicts, for other addicts. That's how it works. How am I creating a healing environment for my fellow addicts? What can I do today that's practical to help another addict? Let's take a moment of silence, followed by the we version of Serenity Prayer. Moment of silence now, please. Thank you. God, grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, the courage to change things that we can, and the wisdom know the difference. Just for today, please and thank you. The therapeutic value of practicality. I love this. We do feel that our approach to the disease of addiction is practical. And you know what? The rest of the world is starting to see that it is practical. They're starting to promote for financial gain, of course, but they're starting to promote within their own organizations peer-to-peer support, recovery coaches, and starting to hire us, actually give us money, give us a legitimate paycheck to come in and do the work that they've been trying to do, but because they lack lived experience, they somehow have not been able to be as productive and successful in this area that they claim in their mission statement, their vision statements, that they do. So let's find the people that can do this. Let's go ahead and secure funding. Let's get a grant and secure funding to hire the people. And we can, matter of fact, in order for the government to pay us, we need them to go get certified. So let's get enough money, pay these individuals that actually already have the experience, give them a certification, a 6-week program, get them certified so that they're covering, we're covering all our bases. There's no loopholes here. They understand how to handle groups. They understand what is expected in society of being the therapeutic value, right? Of one addict helping another. Let's make sure that we kind of round out their rough edges a little bit, have them pass a test so it's legit, based on the state, which means that the state can give us money to give them a check. If they've stayed clean this long, they're working a program this long, they can pass a state exam. Come on, let's train them, bring them back into the organization with a title, and let them do the dirty work. Let them do the work that we aren't able to do because we don't really have that lived experience, or we're so far from it, we don't even acknowledge it anymore. So don't tell me that the therapeutic value of one addict helping another is not without parallel. It absolutely is a true statement. And the world is starting to recognize it because they're developing a scheme, in a sense, a way to be able to hire us to do the work that they need done to prop themselves up even further. And that sounds kind of negative, but you can call it whatever you want. I'm not trying to make it negative. I'm just saying that the therapeutic value of one addict helping another is finding its value in the world today. But we've always known it. We've always have suggested that it only takes 2 addicts to create a meeting, right? We've always talked it. And now, because of money, greed, not our own, because we're being productive, right? We're going to have a job. We're going to work. We're going to do something unless we're disabled to be able to bring in income. So why not let it be something that we actually have grounded ourselves in? I think that's beautiful. We're no longer having to hide in basements and in certain rooms and people's homes and move our meetings from place to place because being an addict was illegal, right? There's a whole book that has been produced by Narcotics Anonymous, and I think it's called Miracles Happen. If you really want to get into that process of alcohol, right, being illegal, liquor actually having to be, it was created like a drug, right? Bootlegged. If you want the history of us coming away from the mothership to our own entity that embraces alcohol as a drug, but also takes away the stigma, the criminalization of using other substances. And we're far more inclusive. If you want the history of that, get that book. Find that book. You can find it secondhand, I'm sure, for just a couple of bucks. But if you want your own, get a new one, order it from na.org. Miracles Happen. And it talks about how there was these asylums too in the United States that were used to house us. Right? Can you imagine being a heroin addict and having to be locked up because it became public knowledge that you were an addict? Can you imagine? As big as Zoom platform is for NA, can you imagine? Shh. Hide them tracks on your arm. Shh. The authorities find out you going to Kentucky. I'm not even sure if that facility was in Kentucky. It seems like it was, but there were just a couple of places that we had to be sent to. And if you ever get a chance to talk to some of these older addicts, and I guarantee you, they're older. The people that I'm thinking about are right around 50 years clean. Mm-hmm. Yeah. When our book, yeah, 1953. So the people I'm thinking about are in that, I would say not even 40 years, but there's some that I've talked to that are actually in the 40-year bracket that have some horrible stories to tell about getting clean. Shock treatment. I mean, we've come so far as a society, and it still holds true. It still holds true, right? Bill W. and Dr. Bob going to a hospital, actually what would have been called, what we would have called H&I today. Two people going to visit someone that had a wet brain. You see the picture anytime you go to one of these clubs, Alano clubs, you'll see the picture all the time. Bill W. and Dr. Bob sitting on the side of a bed, holding a meeting with an addict that was suffering from wet brain. So we've always believed that the power of love reigns. We've always believed it. And you can look at your own story and see it too. We're grateful. We're grateful for all the institutions, even the religious ones, the treatment programs, doctors, family, relationships. We're grateful. We're so grateful. But there comes a point in a time. There comes a point in a time where now the work of Narcotics Anonymous becomes real for us. And we have to move past it. We have to move forward into NA, into the spiritual principles that do talk about God. A lot of times we don't want to roll our sleeves up and get busy because we're still concerned about that third step. I talked about that in the Just for Today. Listen, I don't have time to dig into this too much, but I really am enjoying spending our time together. You know, when I do the podcast, I see the comments in my mind over the years. Not over the years, over the last year and a half or so. I think I started in March of 2022 with Just for Today. And I added the spiritual principle a day. My first recording for the spiritual principle a day is July 5th. think if you look at that from last year, July 5th of 2022 for Spiritual Principle a Day, I might have had a measly 4 or 5 views, right? And so I'm going to go forward with this process. I'm not sure that I will do both meditations every day after July 5th. I'd be interested in knowing what you think about that, because I know that the information is out there, but every day is a brand new day. And my perception of the meditations this year are different than last year. And I like that current presence of mind dealing with today. Let me know in the comments what you think about that. Continue, not continue, do some other literature. Yeah, them steps are a big one. I could see doing the step working guide, but it takes some organization to be able to pull that off. I have to have 2 screens up. It takes a little bit of work, and it just really depends on how I'm feeling, depends on how far I can get. But let me know what you think. I'm going to have a good day regardless whether I do that or not. I'm going to have a good day anyway, because I've started it out on the right foot with you guys. Have a beautiful day on purpose. Do that for me. And I will be talking to you tomorrow. Take care.